Breeders' Cup, win and you're in. We're going to talk about the four-star Dave with a full field rundown.
Today's video is brought to you by Assiniboia Downs Gaming and Event Center. Be sure to tune into this channel live Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern for Monday Night Lights, hosted by Trust the Profits.
Trust the Profits, it's a formula here, talking to you today about the four-star Dave. It is a G1 race run at Saratoga, 8 furlongs. That's a mile on turf. We have 7 horses entered. Don't have the odds yet as of this recording. Have a guess as to who will be the top 2 morning line favorites here. But yeah, four-star Dave. Let's get into it. Nice little Saratoga turf race. Hopefully they dry off at Saratoga and they're able to run this race on turf as expected. Assuming they are, let's start at the top with Casa Creed, who I think is going to be the morning line favorite. He was the winner of the Kelso Stakes, beating Annapolis by a length there, and third at the Jaipur, losing to Caravelle by 1 length previous to that. This is a horse that did struggle at the Breeders' Cup turf, finishing well back of Caravelle in that race, but most horses do. Won 2 G1s last year, including this race and the Jaipur. So this is a horse that has put up a number of wins on turf at these one-turn distances. Wilmot has got this horse ready to go. He's had a pretty good 2023 so far, coming off that win at the Kelso. So I got to think that Casa Creed is going to be your morning line favorite here, and definitely a favorite here to at least finish in the money. Who else we got here? Annapolis. If there's going to be another horse that is the morning line favorite, I would think it's Annapolis, but I would say based on that Kelso Stakes loss to Casa Creed, Casa Creed's probably going to get the edge there. But I mean, what can you say about Annapolis? In 10 starts, 6 wins, very impressive. A couple of those are G1s. Only time finishing out of the money was the BC Turf Mile. Didn't look as impressive there. Definitely overcome by a lot of horses shipping over from Europe. Also, winner of the opening verse by a head over Churchtown and Set Piece. Winner of the Coolmore last year by 1.5 lengths over Ivar, Order of Australia. So he's had some pretty impressive wins, even if that BC does look like a black mark. Annapolis, very strong horse. Emmanuel. So this is a horse that was on the Derby Trail in 2022. Didn't race in the Derby, missed the Derby, was in a couple pretty big prep races, finishing close to the money on those. But he switched over to turf, mounting 4 wins in 7 races. Has raced twice in G1 turf races, of which this is one, right? The Maker's Mark Mile, Saratoga Derby, but he finished 7th and 10th in those, which does give me a bit of pause here on Emmanuel. Doing that once, maybe that's acceptable, but doing it twice, you got to sort of climb out of the hole there and prove you're doing something you haven't done before, which I know in horse racing is a bit of a taboo. G2 and G3, 4 wins, 1/3 in 5 races, including his last one at the Belmont at the Poker Stakes. So in the second and third tier graded stakes races, he's doing okay. He's still looking to make some sort of stamp for himself in a G1 though. This could be the opportunity. Ice Chocolat. So this is horse 17 races with 5 wins. Yeah, I wrote here Woodbine Warrior. All of his in the money finishes in North America have come at Woodbine, and he's 0 for 4 elsewhere. So let's keep that in mind. Last time out, he ran the Kelso Stakes. So that's a pretty big race with respect to the horses that are going to be coming up at the four-star Dave. It was 2 1/4 lengths behind Casa Creed in that one. Obviously, Annapolis a little bit further ahead of him there. And he finished 6th at the Jaipur, 3+ lengths behind Caravelle. So in those couple races, from what we've seen from this Mark Gassi horse, he is a step or 2 behind 2 of the big horses we've talked about in the four-star Dave so far. Who else we got here? Full screen. Hey, when you search for full screen horse online, you get pictures like this. So don't sue me here. Never run in a graded stakes race before. Last race, that was his first time at Saratoga. He finished 5th in a pretty high purse, expensive purse, big purse allowance race. 4 lengths behind Whisper Not. Not the same level as some of the horses we talked about before. 2 races previous to that. 7th place allowance finishes at Woodbine, so not exactly spectacular. He did run in a stakes race, the Ontario Stakes, the Lake Ontario Stakes by a neck over Huntmaster. Only 6 horses in that race, though, so not a whole lot to judge off of. Um, Third of Mark Cassie's entries, definitely not his best. My Sea Cottage. Okay, here's the Mark Cassie horse that I like best. So 3 wins in 15 races doesn't sound that great, but in the last 7 races, he's finished in the money. Never raced in a graded stakes race before. I get that. Raced in one stakes race in 2021 at Woodbine. So obviously, this is a step up for my Sea Cottage, but he's looked good in his last 7 races. I mean, if you like speed figures, he's got those. So I think he's ready for the bump up here. Last time out, he went a mile in the 70K starter allowance race at Saratoga, and he won that by 2.5 lengths over Unleash the Power. So not a bad start. He's raced at the course before, which you like to see. Was a neck behind Disarmed in a 60K 6 furlong starter allowance race at Belmont. We're talking about a one-turn race. We're not going too far here, so 6 furlongs, not too bad if you're talking about bumping up to a mile. But yeah, this is of the 3 Mark Casse horses in this race, this is the one I lean towards the most. And so high. 3 wins in 22 races, 6 races in 2023, but has yet to even show in a race. 2 G1s, United Nations and Manhattan Stakes. He finished 7th and 8th in those. Um, the last time he placed in a race was April 2022. Last time he won was 2020. I mean, that was when we were on lockdown. Was the last time he won. So high. Gonna call you an insta toss for right now, and I love your comedic picture. So what do we got here? Um, Annapolis. I'm gonna say Annapolis to win. I think he's gonna be second morning line. Might go off as a post time favorite, but I still think Casa Creed is probably gonna grab more public attention. But if you're gonna talk about doing an exacta box, I mean, Annapolis, Casa Creed, that's a pretty good way to go. Probably going to be 1 and 2. I do like My Sea Cottage. I think My Sea Cottage, if any horse out there can squeak into second or third, it's going to be My Sea Cottage. Emmanuel, really good horse. I'm still waiting to see something from this horse, and maybe this is the race where we see it. Definitely, if we're going to talk about a key box and you're thinking that there might be someone who can overcome either Annapolis or Casa Creed, Emmanuel's one that could squeak in there as well. Probably going to be the third morning line, third post time favorite there. My Sea Cottage, I think you can get a price on though. So that's what I've got for the 4 star Dave. What do you guys have? Do you agree with me on this? Um, yeah, just tell us what you're thinking. Hope you give a thumbs up to the show. Check out our memberships and see you around.